Hari Om and welcome. Continue with Upanishads. Next mantra 34-35. Knowledge of Ajapa Gayatri. And we talk about Ajapa Gayatri in the previous mantra. Now we're going to dive deeper into the mantra. Sanskrit is Asyah Sankalpa Matrena Sarva Papaih Pramuchyat Anaya Sadrishe Vidya Anaya Sadrisho Yapach Anaya Sadrisham Gnanam Na Bhutam Na Bhavishayati Kundalinyam Samudbhuta Gayatri Pranatharine. So just remember, I'm reading the English transliteration, so absolutely probably incorrect. Close enough. Translation. Such knowledge as this, such ajapa as this, removes all sins only by its awareness. Knowledge of this existed neither in the past nor it will be in the future. This Ajapa Gayatri, born of Kundalini, in the sustainer of prana. In the commentaries, the importance of Ajapa Gayatri has been emphasized in this mantra. By this method, the gross consciousness is transformed into pure consciousness. Therefore, it is comparable to the highest knowledge. In the normal repetition of the mantra, there is awareness of the particular sound produced verbally or mentally for a limited period of time. Whereas in Ajapa Gayatri, the mantra is not produced verbally or mentally, but by the natural rhythm of the breath, which is a constant physical process. Use of the breath as the basis of mantra repetition allows the practice to go on effortlessly, so that the awareness of sound becomes continuous for all the 24 hours. This type of spontaneous japa brings about constant meditative awareness, which purifies all the mental impressions or samskaras and hence removed all sins. So the sins here, I think it's kind of old word that they're using in this particular commentary for our easier understanding, but sins is not samskaras or impressions, doesn't have to be sins. It's just something that's been recorded on us and something that be bothering and causing our discomfort, disbalance here. And as we talked many times, the ultimate goal of any yoga practitioner is to clean up this, get rid of all the samskaras, impressions, because that's what pull you from one side to the other, from one extreme to the other, and come back to the middle, to the self, to the pureness of yourself, where you're not affected by anything that's happening with you or outside. Ajapa Gayatri, as you remember, it's the Soham breath sound, which, as we discover from previous mantra, prevail and present with us through all of our life. We're all breathing, we're all inhaling, exhaling, and it's been noticed that the sound, which you can start hearing, usually if you use a dry breath, you can hear it more clearly. It's like Soham. So we kind of, so it's not particular as a say so, but if you're listening to your breath, when you're inhaling, it's kind of more or less closer to that, and hum, it's more closer to this exhaling noise. And this is universal and amazing, this particular Ajapa technique, because it's available to everyone. It doesn't matter which language you speak or you don't speak at all. As long as you can breathe, you can practice this. And another, what they're trying to emphasize here, importance in magical part of it, is that magical in a funny sense, but I mean very universal, I would say. The practicality of this mantra is that anybody can use it. Doesn't matter your language, religion, understanding. If you can even not speak, you can still hear that. And if you every breath, every inhale, exhale will be aware of it, you can get liberation or enlightenment, or get rid of all your sanskaras, or as they say, sins here in this lifetime. And I, from personal experience, know for whoever practitioners, yogis, guru, scripts I read, that this is one of the fastest, and some even think maybe the only way to get liberated fast in our life. Because in our life, who has time to practice hours and hours of different mantras and sounds? Because usually in the japa meditation, we give you some kind of mantra. It can be a personal mantra, it could be the mantra that given by this particular meditation. It's amazing, it's very good, and it's great benefits. But as these practitioners, yogis, through experience say, nothing is effective more than Soham. Yeah. So everybody have it, it's natural to you, it's given. And if you use it, it doesn't have any annotations to any groups, religions, cults, or anything like that. So, it's pure sound of your breath. And if you just focus on that, and it's always with you, even in your sleep, you will get liberated. So that's the point, I think, here, what they're trying to say in this mantra. Here we can understand sin, explaining the sin, that's what I say, as the negative impressions in the mind which accumulate at the subconscious and unconscious levels and influence the jiva to act in the ways which are harmful for its own spiritual evolution and for the welfare of others. So the sin, they mean if you have these impressions and they're bothering you, these extremes, that I say, and they cause you for the action or not action, which causing others. And that's one of the main reasons people behave. They behave, and we have situations in the world which sometimes absurd, but that's what's happened, yeah? So they kind of call it here sins, but I think it's not the very good English word, because usually we attribute sin to something we especially did something bad, and it's very related to the Christianity in particular. According to Kundalini Yoga, these negative samskaras, which are stored in the karmashaya, subtle layers of impressions, at the level of Svadhisthana chakra, form the primary abstraction to the upward passage of Kundalini Shakti. The mantra implies that the blockage is removed by the Ajapa Gayatri, and hence Kundalini Shakti is able to ascend the Sushumna passage unhindered. And if you watched any of my previous talks in Pranayama and reading these Upanishads, we constantly talk about the chakras, the ascending of Kundalini, where it's coming from, where it's stuck, what's happening. And as I told you before, if you were like a monk in some particular monasteries in Tibet or something, it's some of them attributed in Buddhism that only when you reach Manipura with your Kundalini, then you can be practicing Kriya Yogas and ascending your Kriyas. And unfortunately, in the modern world, well, maybe fortunately, people practice Kriyas given without any preparation. I'm saying unfortunately for these people who start practicing it, because they have some kind of energetic pool or energy coming, opening the chakras, but with the releasing of all the benefits, but they also all these impressions start releasing. And some people cannot sustain it. Some people have this feeling of overwhelming everything, like their swings of the temper happen, so they might become too aggressive or too hungry, or they want to accumulate everything, or opposite, they love everybody too much, all these things. So this it's even if it's in a good way, we're considering by our society right now, well, any society, because every society has its own understanding what is good, what is bad. It's still positive for the practitioner as a yogi practitioner, because you remember, if you're even too given, too loving, it's still too much. So you want to tend to be in the middle, in the present, yeah. So in any direction, yeah. So the explaining the sins, as I said, in a sense, and then Svadhisthana, we talk about this in reading this Upanishad several times, about the storage. When we talk about that, release your dragon, train your dragon. So Svadhisthana, it's one of these kind of magical places where so Muladhara, your first kind of lower chakra, it's connection to your animal world. This is the chakra through which you reincarnate in this life. When you move evolutionary from animal state to the human state, traditionally, if you kind of follow from bottom till the top, not necessarily happen, but it's one of the connection chakra. And then Svadhisthana, it's the next one. It's the one which have all this storage of primordial knowledge, and it's a very important one, Kundalini rising, because that's the seat on Kundalini. Sometimes, often we use this chakra to kind of start this process of fast evolution spiritually. Even any other practices on the higher levels we do, they constantly coming back to Svadhisthana, and particularly if you're practicing more ancient type of techniques like a tantra yoga, and I'm not talking about sexual type of Kamasutra energy harvest through these practices, but I'm talking about some meditation. When you meditate, you do some visualizations, or you move the energy back down through the Svadhisthana, or even to the ovaries or of your equivalent male organs, and you engage that energy to waking up your Kundalini. So it's quite a Going a little bit deeper dive to Tantra here now.